Peace, peace.
Peace,
Welcome
brother.
back, family. How are you?
I'm good, man. How about yourself?
I'm well, beloved. I'm well. Great day, great day.
Yeah, man. It's good. It's good to see you, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good to see you as well.
I'm trying to work around this mic, man. I don't know. I gotta do some things in the studio, man. You know what I'm saying? You
I
know.
absolutely understand what you're saying. We got all this new equipment, and it's challenging working this stuff sometimes.
Yeah, man. This today is a joint where we're gonna be talking about. Well, we pretty much kind of respond to some of the things that was asked. I got a few questions about uh, African culture, African spirituality. And so, I just wanted to respond via podcast, the best of our ability. You know what I'm saying? The
Okay,
sisters,
okay.
the conversation was basically, let me see if I can bring down this music. Is the music too loud, bro?
It's all right. I mean, if you
I,
want to
I,
bring it down because of the serious nature of the conversation, that's cool. It wasn't too loud, but it's all right.
yeah,
You know how that
'cause,
go. We don't.
you
We
know
don't
we,
really. we don't really find out when it's over.
you know what I'm
We
saying?
go back
On the
and go to the
playback,
editing
like,
studio.
damn, bro, we should have raised it some. Should have brought it down some. You know, uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, man. So I'm trying to look around this mic again, man, just to make sure that we are on the big screen. Okay, big screen TV.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. So a question was yeah, there you go. A question was asked um regarding Egypt. Every a lot of people know Egypt has is known for just its beauty. You know, very lovely physical attractions to the eye. Um, Egypt is known for gods. Where the gods were. And the whole city that was built. And so, in the conversation, the sister said that she asked me, was I Egyptian? And it's a tricky question because um, you have to from my perspective regarding any question for the most part that I get from a lot of people, I have to put my mindset back to where they are opposed to where I am. And a lot of times when you put yourself back to where an individual mindset is, you have to be able to make sure that your interpretation of things do not lose the individual, because you can easily snap back into your reality of actual fact, you know. Um, and so my response to her was yes. And she was
Okay.
like, yeah, well, I'm not I'm not subscribing to Egyptians, you know what I'm saying? Because they Egyptians actually enslaved our people. You know what I'm saying? And that brought up a whole big conversation because the next thing, as someone who loves to, spread truth and pass the good word and inform people, I felt obligated to let her know, as well as others, not just her, because this is something that a lot of people are under the impression that Egyptians enslaved our people.
Okay.
And yes, Egyptians did. Uh, well, first of all, let me say this to start it off right. We got to go further back before that whole concept of what people believe was an enslavement and all of that. Um, the reason we use the word ancient is because you have to go before all of that drama. We have to go to a place when uh, Egypt wasn't even called Egypt. We have to go back to a place, a time set where it was called Kemet, and not just Kemet, but ancient Kemet. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And so in ancient Kemet, This is where we find, the purest, observations of our doctrine and our culture. And so when we say we are Egyptians, we're only saying we're Egyptians because that's all most people really understand. Most people don't understand have an understanding of ancient Kemetic culture. They just understand the lifestyle of Egyptians. You know what I'm saying? And so when you looking on the walls today in this day and time, and you're looking at a lot of stories, you're really looking at Egyptian stories. You're not looking at African stories. You're looking at Greek stories. You're looking at Roman stories. You're looking at stories that were put into place through an invasion and a war. So this can't just be something that's just a 2 minute conversation. People think, our truth is microwavable. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't have time to really listen to our story, we wouldn't expect you to actually live our story. You know what I'm saying? The story of our ancestors. You know what I'm saying? And so, again, going back to ancient Kemet, our ancestors, this whole thing about numerology and it's Greek and all this and that. No, they said it was stolen. That everything you see that has to do with religion, everything you see that has to do uh, 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 with with let's just use the word religion for now. You know what I'm saying? Spirituality,
Right.
all of those things were stolen. Everybody was coming into ancient Kemet and were being taught on a Kemetic level from the persuasions of our African ancestors. We had an African spirituality, and so you had Greeks coming in, you had Romans coming in, you had Babylonians coming in. Everybody was coming in, and they would take back what they learned. They would take it back to their own people, and
Absolutely.
it got to a point where a couple of them decided to, well, not a couple of them, but yeah, well, a couple of them got decided to, come together and create an army because they didn't just want what we had; they wanted the throne. They didn't just want the truth that we had. They wanted the whole culture. They wanted everything, and so they invaded Kemet. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I guess a lot of people are not in tune with that. They don't understand that there was an invasion,
Right.
and
Multiple
so
times too.
yeah.
Ancient Kemet was invaded multiple times, and that's why the historical knowledge varies from Roman to Greek to there was even Nubian invaders of ancient Kemet. So people, you're right. People got to understand the entire history. I agree with you.
Well, the Nubian invaders came later from
Right.
once there started being a lot of takeover. Of course, they had to go to some of the Nubians felt uh, it was in their best interest. You know what I'm saying, to work with the Greeks, the Babylonians, and and they created this dynasty called the Hyksos dynasty. And the Hyksos actually are the ones who are responsible for what you know today as Egypt. You know what I'm saying? So what they did was most of what was there from our ancestors, they didn't touch it. They just changed some of the names. You know what I'm saying? And added a couple of figures in. Like Moses. You never will find a a a person, a real
Right.
person,
Mhm.
or called Moses. A lot of these characters are made up, but a lot of these characters are taken from an ancient Kemetic observational story. You know what I'm saying? And so, in regards to numerology, for those who don't realize it, uh, our ancestors, our Kemetic ancestors, were, they had the first star charts. You know what I'm saying? Our ancestors had the first star charts. This is something that was seen by the Greeks when they came into Egypt. You know what I'm saying? And so when it's like no different from today. A lot of things that are, financed is done It's not done by the actual people who created it or made it. They don't. It's like, you got to go get some funds, some backing. You know what I'm saying, to make this thing big. And that's what the Greeks and all of them did. And the Hyksos. That's what they did. They came with the you know the financing of their own deities. You know what I'm saying? And so names like Osiris is Greek. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Uh, the name, the real name of that being or person is Asar. You know what I'm saying? And so in ancient Kemet, we got to go to those stories. And I want to just tap in on some of those today. Like, we knew the speed of light. Our ancestors knew the speed of light. You know what I'm saying? We were known for civilizing people. And so you got the 42 laws of Kemet, that gave birth to Judaism and all of
Absolutely.
the alikes. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yep.
You know what I mean? And so if we don't put in a little bit of study, we'll just, believe what we believe and not really have the facts. The whole word um, Egyptian means burnt face. So it was a description of people who came into Kemet and got burnt. Literally, they got darker, literally, because they weren't from that land. You know what I'm saying? And so, um, again, it sucks to have to say, yeah, I'm Egyptian because of somebody's, uh, you know, mindset. People's really just not in tune. When you start talking about ancient Kemet, the Hyksos was so successful in what they did to remove us is it, just in the minds of people that when you say African culture, African spirituality, people are so fearful. People get so afraid and start talking about, oh, that's bad. I'll say the word voodoo, and people automatically will say, oh man, they will seek refuge in Christ. You know what I'm saying? And we are so afraid of ourselves, man. It's just amazing. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole nature of Christ comes from ancient Kemet as well. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lovely story. I had one guy tell me, "Oh man, those stories not true." A guy who stood on the grounds that he was more of a Christian than he was human. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is that it is not the Christ in you that's having you conversate with me. It is the human in you that is having you communicate what you give power to. You know what I'm saying? And so being uneducated, because that's really just what it is, being uneducated, being under the spell, being mentally and spiritually lazy will have people assuming that, the things that they dislike about uh, ancient Kemet, aka Egyptians, is all you. We no, we are not Egyptians, damn it. You know what I'm saying? We are not Egyptians. You know what I mean? But for sake of timing in the moment, we say we are Egyptians because we want you to know that we are connected to that dynasty, to that greatness,
Mhm.
of being mothers and fathers of civilization. So everybody knows that black people are the mothers and fathers of civilization. But then we get dummy that we dumb down the concept when in real time. So like, okay, what was it about us that made us mothers and fathers of civilization? Well,
Absolutely.
we lived by way of the laws of Ma'at. And we practiced that, we taught that, and this is what we passed on the 42. If it wasn't for the 42 laws of Kemet, then there would be no 10 commandments.
Absolutely. I was hoping you was gonna go there. I was like, that is a derivative of where the Ten Commandments came from. Let me ask you a quick question. So the sister said that she can't rock with ancient Kemet or Egypt for lack of a better term, because they enslaved our people.
Yeah.
So she doesn't understand that the type of slavery that occurred in ancient times is not what is occurring or what is referenced in the American slave trade. That was a whole different type of slavery.
Mhm.
It was culturally accepted to have slaves in ancient times, but they could earn their freedom. They could work off their freedom. in what is called the African slave trade, that was more of a commodity. That was us valued or devalued to be less than human. So we were used as a commodity. That wasn't exactly the same thing. So I don't know if the sister's aware of that, but it's interesting that she took such a stance
Strong stand.
against, yeah, against she can't rock with ancient Kemet because of slavery. So maybe do some research, sister, and figure out the difference in how what slavery was then and what it is now.
And that's on point. A lot of us, um, I'm not going to remove myself from it because I once was there. I was uneducated for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, we got to think about this Hyksos dynasty. We can't be lazy about it. If you're lazy about it and don't want to do research, at least do research. You can't be in a conversation of or sharing your opinion about anything if you haven't at least done research and got yourself to be on a level where you're aware of not kind of like an end of a story, but the beginning of a story. And so um, there wasn't a in bondage. There wasn't like a slavery. They were killing our people. So then we got to make this like very clear. They were murdering our people. So you it's a lot deeper than what meets the eye. It's like this is murder we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? They removed themselves. We observed nature. That was our whole concept, to be in tune with nature. And the Hyksos removed themselves from the mineral domain. They removed themselves from the plant domain. They removed themselves from the animal domain. So when you look at our ancestors and see hairdresses that resemble animals, you know what I'm saying? If you're looking at it through a Hyksos eye, or what we refer to as a Makasu eye or a Tamu eye, a Caucasian eye, then yeah, you as a Nubian, you as a so-called African American, is going to uh, look at our ancient African culture sideways. Our African spirituality was all about minerals. And look at today. A lot of people are into minerals. A lot of people are into herbs. A lot of people are into natural health. And this comes from our ancient Kemetic way of life. And so even the word God, God was the whole term of God was brought in by Europeans. It was brought in by them. They removed the concept of Natir. Natir is it represents the aspects of the divine. You know what I'm saying? And so a divine is something that anyone can work themselves, to get to. It's
Absolutely.
so it's not like there is this God. You know what I'm saying? Like they created that whole,
Right.
that whole concept. Like no, the divine, and the divine can be, tapped into by each and every one of us. You know what I'm saying? There's a falcon that's used. The falcon is the only bird that can look directly in the sun. And so because we were observing, animal nature amongst other, natures, we were observing animal nature, you know what I'm saying? The falcon was used, you know what I'm saying? That was one of the it was used by Heru. You know what I'm saying? Heru is known to have the headdress of a falcon, the hawk, you know what I mean? And represented a special gift of sight. You know what I mean? And so uh each deity had a symbolism, represented something particular. You know, we say today uh we have superfoods, right? You know what I'm saying? And so how you gonna have superfoods if you don't have a super mind? You know what I'm saying? A super person. What's the whole purpose of a superfood? To empower you to get to a divine level. So that must mean that there are people who can get to a divine level. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, with the falcon, having that sight that it has, it was just used. So our ancestors, observed the best of whatever it was and utilized those as just symbols. Not that we were into animal worship or plant worship or anything like that. You know what I mean? Each animal had a super characteristic. I mean, when you put all those different characteristics, those super characteristics together, you get a higher, overstanding of creation and the whole creation story. So you can't talk about us and talk about somebody else's beginning. Egypt is not our beginning. We when we were younger, we laughed at Ethiopians. You African booty scratcher and all that. You know, it was a joke to us. The spell was so deep that we were laughing at our own people, man. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing the connection, not knowing that it's all about you know TT or Tia. You know what I'm saying? Way down in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Way down. You know what I'm saying? Before there was a big old flashy dynasty, our ancestors were living this culture amongst themselves. You know what I'm saying? And Anubis is another one. Another, Anubis represents God, judgment. The jackal, who would bury his kill. And this is key. The jackal buries his kill, puts it in the ground and lets it cook. I don't know if people realize that. You know what I'm saying? A jackal will bury its kill. Your dog will bury its bone. Your dog will bury some food in the backyard still to this day. You know what I'm saying? And let it simmer and let it get right, mixed in with the minerals of the earth and the pressure and the heat from the sun. You know what I'm saying? And know naturally when to go and pull this, its kill up out the ground. And because it was so intelligent in that manner, and people know today that cats are super intelligent, their birds are super intelligent, all of their pets, they got snakes now that oh man, the snake is so smart. You know what I'm saying? So our ancestors observed this and acknowledged, the jackal. You know what I'm saying? Because the jackal was intelligent enough to know uh when to make a judgment call. So that's why the jackal is observed, in the concept and perspective of judgment. You know what I'm saying? Our ancestors studied nature, man. And when we talk about Asar um, being green, they know they call an Asar Osiris. You know what I'm saying? And when Asar is green, and I want to say Osiris because people are more attracted to the Greek word. You know what I mean? But
Right. You got to meet them
Asar,
where they are. You got to meet them where they are.
yeah. So Asar, well, maybe not today. You know what I'm saying? Like
Peace, peace.
this is all about those who wish to
Elevate their thinking. There you
get to
go.
the next level now, man. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's
I'm with you.
2020. We bringing in 2025, man. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, how much more do we have to hold on and wait to speak on these truths? These are not even like deep truths anymore. These
Absolutely.
these these are just basic information that you could find. You know what I'm saying? So, when we talk about Osiris, aka, you know what I'm saying, when he's green, we're talking about the botanical one. We're talking about the natural nature one. You know what I'm saying? And so when we're talking about Asar and he's black, we're talking about the human one. He's human when he's black. You know what I'm saying? So there's two different colored Asars. Two
And you're
different,
referencing, I'm sorry, just so that they could be clear, you're
yeah,
referencing the images on the walls in ancient Kemet.
right.
Because
Because
there are two, this is what the brother's referencing. So for those who kind of don't have an understanding of why he's using two different colors for the same
right,
character. But go ahead, my brother, go ahead. I just
right.
wanted to put that
Because
caveat.
because that's part of the confusion. People like,
Right.
oh, how could this be Osar and how could this be Osiris and Osiris is this color? Like, this Cyrus looked like this. Well, Osiris was in two different forms. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And
Absolutely.
again, those colors were representations. So our people was all about symbolism. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to just bring things up to speed and live in a Western mindset set, then you to each his or her own. You know what I'm saying? But it's just time for all these little truths to be spoken. Osset um, was Asar's equal. You know what I'm saying? And so uh, she was his counterpart. You know, his brother Set. Now Osiris's brother Set. Check this out. Osiris' brother Set became jealous. Now these are ancient Kemetic stories, so we can talk about all other stories later. These stories predate all the stories that we were given, and once you hear these things, you'll be able to put them together. So Set, which is Osiris's brother, became jealous of Asar, became jealous of his brother Osiris because of the harmony he had. Osiris created some harmony. You know what I'm saying? Had that beautiful wife on set and was just doing it. You know what I'm saying? Had her as his equal, not behind him, not in front of him. You know what I'm saying? Beside him. And so he got his power from her, and she got her power from him. Osiris was very jealous, and this is something you see today. He actually, you know, he killed his brother. You know what I'm saying? And cut him up into 14 pieces as the story is told. You know what I'm saying? And it was Orset, his wife, his woman, you know what I'm saying? That got his body parts and put them back together, you know what I'm saying? And performed the resurrection. You know, she performed rituals that would allow her, you know what I'm saying, to put her husband back together. She went and got her man. A lot of y'all know damn well something happened to your dude, you going to get your man. You know what I mean? Well, that's how it used to be. You know what I mean? I don't know about today. Sisters will leave a brother out there. If he fall apart, she just like, whatever, I'm gonna get another dude instead of building her man up. Go get his pieces and put him back together. You know what I'm saying? That's a real damn thing, bro. And you know, she is one of the best examples of that. She's observed several times with her hand positioned behind him. You know what I'm saying, and aligned with his spine. And I don't want to go into that whole story because we should be in tune with that. You know what I'm saying? When a man ejaculates, there's a the spinal column. First of all, every column that you see is a replica of the column within the back of our bodies called the spine. You know what I'm saying? The tree is the spine. You know what I'm saying? And it connects to everything imaginable within the concept or makeup of who we physically are. It is our connection to the spirit world. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, uh, uh, as the story goes, Orset, she was a virgin, and she was visited by the spirit of her man, the spirit of her Asar, and was impregnated. This is an ancient Kemetic story that predates your Bible story. You know what I'm saying? This is where y'all getting y'all stuff from. And I'm not saying this disrespectfully. I'm aligned with my grandmother and my grandfather and my and my immediate family who were hard-born, stone cold Christians, but they just were unaware. They just were following something that was, given to them. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't know about these stories. And the stories existed though, because it was like an abomination for you to actually go and indulge in the concepts and the studies of our African culture. You know what I'm saying? It was looked at as something bad, through the concepts of voodoo. But today, in this day and time, that's all you seeing is African spirituality, and everybody. You go online right now, and that's all you're going to see. You're going to see, the effects and the inspirations of African spirituality. And so it doesn't stop with just the little things that we take on. It goes so deep into reaching the level of the divine. And so Orset was on a divine level. She was actually able to, bring her consorts, her life partner, her husband, you know, she was able to bring his body parts back together, and she was impregnated, and 9 months later had a son who we all know to be Heru. Now this is important because Heru was born on the same birthday as his father. He was born on the same birthday as his father, which correlates to December 25th.
Say that again. I think they might not have caught that correlation, man. Say that again for the
Or
people.
Set gave birth to a child, a male child, and he was born on the same birthday as his father, which correlates to December 25th. Now, this is an ancient Kemetic story that has been recorded hundreds and thousands of years ago. You know what I'm saying? Way before there was a Bible or a Bible, way before there was a Torah. You understand? Way before all of that. Every culture has gotten its story from our African ancestors, our ancient Kemetic ancestors. You know what I'm saying? Each and every one of them. There's not a culture that exists today that doesn't have their savior. And their whole concept of the savior comes from our ancient Kemetic ancestors.
Wait
It
a minute.
comes,
Hold on. So you saying that all of those biblical stories and all of those things have its root in ancient Kemet? So some people gonna be
absolutely.
sorely disappointed,
They
man.
shouldn't be disappointed. They shouldn't be disappointed because let me go further. Let me explain this.
Bring it to them,
They
brother.
shouldn't be disappointed because it's about being educated. It's about fighting
Absolutely.
the energy within yourself. You know what I'm saying? Not some devil, not some demon. The devil in yourself, the energy in yourself, the negativity in yourself that's making you fight and think that you are going against your mother. You are going against your father's way. You know, you are going against your grandmother's way and your family's way. They're Christians, and I don't want to go against that whole concept. Well, they were banking on you. They were banking on you coming into the truth. You know what I'm saying? They weren't expecting you to just ride on everything. A lot of things that they were giving you, they knew that there was more to it. And so, you know, I'm just tapping into it for those who that may know me and may think that, there's some level of confusion there on my part. No, I'm a master at spirituality. So I'm able to speak in tongues and be amongst people and uh, uh, be joyous in your way of life and your mindset. You know what I'm saying? Your culture, your whatever it is that you deal with. I'm more interested in you, not the stuff that you attach to. You know what I'm saying? And the truth of it is that you've always heard this in your households. You've always heard your parents say they want you to have more than what they had. They want you to be better than them. This is what they were talking about. They know that more exists. They know that it wasn't things that they did that was just messed up and they couldn't there is no better. They knew that I worked the best way that I could with what I had. You know what I'm saying? And so if we're going to have spirituality, if we're going to have religion, then we're going to have some truth to this. And if we're not going to, acknowledge these truths, then we're going to have to stand to the side. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole concepts of the Natir is running full fledged now more than ever. And I was born into these perspectives in a time where it wasn't many people, especially we didn't have an internet. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so
Yep,
there
that's
wasn't many
correct.
people, that were tapped into the African culture and be in public with it. It was kind of like, it was shunned. You know what I mean? Like you into something African, man. I'm like, nah,
Like a
man.
secret society.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Well, the society is no longer secret. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It's
Well,
out here.
the feminine, absolutely. And so the feminine, she, regenerated Asar's reproduction organs and she became pregnant. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole nother story about you know, or, you know, we would understand why a man is erect in the morning. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men. I was speaking to a group of men the other day, and when I brought that up, it was mind blowing to them because they didn't even understand why they have these strong erections in the morning. You know what I'm saying? This is not for immature, individuals. This is for mature minds only. You know what I'm saying? This is for those who are ready to go to a divine level on your way up. And this is what every religious person should be involved in this particular conversation, because the whole purpose of you being religious, the whole purpose of anyone being in a spiritual setting, is to become more in tune with the divine and be and what go to heaven. So that whole concept of heaven come from ancient Kemet. Let me explain.
Please do. Please enlighten the folks.
So